Alright, listen, I do not have this much time to explain this because it's really late. It's getting super late right now. But as you can possibly tell, I did gather a couple clips from the 2K's live stream of NBA 2K28. Now, you guys already know. If for those of you that have been checking on Twitter recently, currently this whole entire time during the whole stream, I did watch the whole stream. Like I watched from beginning to end. Okay, I saw a couple of ratings that were interesting to me. There are others like that should have been lower. Like there's like ones that should have been higher as well. But anyway, it's up to you guys to make your decisions. People, you can just do whatever you want. Okay, make sure you let me know down below in the comment section who deserves a better rating out of all these other players in this video right now. Okay, because either way, there are only like a few clips, so I really can't edit all this together because it's really late at night. But however, I have to shorten the clips as possible. All right, so therefore, that being said, let's get right into it. All right, so this is the whole stream. If you guys missed it for Twitter, if you guys didn't watch it on Twitter, I know some of you guys may have watched it already by now, but if you guys didn't, this is all the highlights I could think of. I can shorten because I don't want this to be a long video.
Very excited that his buddy Russell Westbrook has joined him back in Houston.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting for both inside the game and in real life. Two of players that have two of the highest usage ratings in NBA history. So I think 2K fans are really going to enjoy both of these guys, both dominant ISO players, and they're going to be a lot of fun to use on NBA 2K20.
As long as they can learn how to share the ball, we'll see.
Well, let's move on to number 3, and that is a new Brooklyn Nets duo, KD and Kyrie. This is going to be an exciting one to watch next year after KD comes back from injury.
Of course, the average is a 93.5. Getting these together, I mean, these are what these two wanted, having Kevin and Kyrie. Both of them, it's been talked about for a long time, and they're finally together. Obviously, we're going to have to wait for Kevin's return to the court, but it's going to be an interesting pair, and we'll also see how Kyrie handles Kevin's absence. It's going to be very interesting, but a really fun team to play in NBA 2K.
Yeah, a deep roster, and Kyrie's really going to get to be able to get in there and kind of work with some of these young guys, and then obviously the whole world is awaiting Kevin Durant's return, and we're kind of rooting for him to get back on the court. But that's a really interesting duo, and really makes Brooklyn.
We need to discuss if they're the third best one. I think that we got to have a
It's interesting.
Got Kawhi and PG with the Los Angeles Clippers.
Yeah, 95 composite rating. PG obviously coming from a top 3 MVP finalist, and then Kawhi Leonard. What can you say about his playoff run? The two of them together going to Clipperland, it's going to be very, very fascinating to watch, and they're going to be a lot of fun to play in NBA 2K20.
Two of the best two-way players in the league now on the same team, joining Patrick Beverley. All I got to say is if you're an off-ball player in 2K, this is your team.
And Anthony Davis, who is joining us later on the show, may I say.
That's awesome.
So I'm excited for him to come through as well.
95.5, just edging out the Clipperland duo. I mean, this is the team that everybody wants to watch. It's the most talked about thing in the offseason, and we're introducing the next with NBA 2K20, and it's going to be amazing to have those two guys together on the same squad. And I'll just add, all these dynamic duos are new. These aren't, there's no Steph and Clay, there's no other existing ones. This is all new for NBA 2K20, which is really, really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, again, the parity in the league has shifted with just such a crazy offseason. So you look at now the acquisition of Anthony Davis in his prime, 26 years old, joining the king, LeBron. And, I think the whole world has their eyes on both LA teams, but the Lakers specifically.
So let's look at a summary of those dynamic duos. You said
So as you see right here, we got the top 4 dynamic duos in NBA 2K20. You see Harden and Russell at the very bottom for 93 overall average rating. Kyrie and KD a little bit over, even though it's like 93.5. Kawhi and Paul George are 95, and now we got the blonde AD atop of them as the number 1 duo so far.
Conversation, like a really, really strong shot. He's got to shoot.
And there's so many things that go into the ratings. I think you have to almost ding him on the fact that he hasn't developed a consistent jump shot, but an 87 for Ben, I mean, he does everything else right.
Totally.
So he is now the future and the heart and soul of Philadelphia alongside Joel Embiid. And don't forget they got Al Horford too. So I think they got better in the offseason. And again, it's going to be a really fun team to play in 2K. But 3-point shooting is really the big question there for that team.
When we revisit this Next
and
season.
he, it's funny. He started as an 84 last year, and he put out a tweet that said ...
That was in response.
In response to me posting it. All these NBA players get mad about it, like we said. But he was really fired up, and then he went out and had an amazing season. So he worked for that rating, and it might only go up. I mean, Detroit's on the rise for sure.
Yeah, they're on the rise.
NBA Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, Rudy Gobert also clocks in at an 88. Chris, you should talk about that in a second. But Rudy, Defensive Player of the Year. It's also very important to him. I actually saw him on Tuesday, and he was like, "What's my rating? What's my rating?" And then so it's always a fascinating thing for these guys to wait for. I think Utah is definitely on the rise, adding Mike Conley. So. That team's going to be fun, and having the Defensive Player of the Year as your anchor is pretty exciting.
Yeah, and also Bogdanovich, don't forget about him.
For
so
sure.
Utah got a lot better in the offseason. And it's interesting to see you have two guys, and I think the public always talks about that one rating, but talking to the ratings team, I learned a lot of things about the formulas and the stuff that goes behind the ratings, and sometimes you'll have a rating that they'll...
Donovan Mitchell, 3rd year in the NBA, and he's at an 88. That's very good.
I mean, he's had a heck of a rise.
Yes, he
his 2nd year, he was an 87. He's bumped it up. He had a really good second half last year
did.
after kind of a bumpy,
Right, I remember that.
kind of a bumpy first half. But again, Utah is going to be on the rise. But Donovan is obviously can do anything with the ball. One of the best offensive players in the league. Should be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, he's on the rise, and he's only going to get better. He's one that I completely anticipate going up
for sure.
and getting above that 90 this year.
Number 17, Kemba Walker, newest Boston Celtic.
Yeah, I mean, nobody talked. This is kind of one of those interesting. Are they part of a dynamic duo with him and Tatum? Really interesting kind of squad that Boston's building. But Kemba, I think he's found a home in Boston. Obviously, going to be there for the long term, but very exciting. And this screenshot is super dope.
Yeah, you can see some of that new lighting that I think fans are going to really like with NBA 2K20. And, a thing about Kemba that's also interesting is he did so much for the Hornets, both on and off the court. He's going to be a great locker room presence for a team that had a little bit of roughness when it came to the locker room. So I think he's going to bring some...
Jimmy Butler.
I mean, I wonder how hot Jimmy Butler is going to be about his 88 overall rating.
He's in the sun. He probably won't mind.
He's probably chilling. But 88, Jimmy Butler he's kind of the central figure now. What he wanted, obviously, he had a really tumultuous year between the T-Wolves and then, the 76ers. So it'll be interesting. Will he get hot for the Miami Heat?
Ooh,
I like it. Nice pun. Yeah, I mean, it's his team. It's where he wants to be for one of the first times in his career. He's
NBA 2K player, Karl Anthony Towns.
Cat, the big man, at an 89. I'm sure he was thinking he would be a 90 plus, and he just missed the boat. But Cat is, I mean, we talked about central figures on the team. He is now the guy. I mean, there's Wiggins there, but this is his team. He signed a long-term deal. There's urgency to win. It'll be interesting. The T-Wolves, the rest of the roster is kind of shaky, but I think Cat is going to have. He's been working in that gym.
He's been working, and he also put out a tweet not too long ago that said, Minnesota deserves better. And, he's been putting up the work, like you said, and I think he's serious about getting them back in playoff contention and, competing for a championship. And he's another guy. I think he can only go up. Cat he's just now.
Moving on to number 14, we have Klay Thompson. He's coming off of an injury.
Yep.
Probably going to miss a lot of next season, but he is at an 89.
Yeah, and you can't deny, obviously, the shooter that Klay is, and a two-way player through and through. The Warriors are going to miss him immensely. But an 89 seems like the right place for him, and hopefully Klay comes back and is better than ever.
Yeah, another player we're rooting to come back for. I think the whole NBA world wants him to come back strong and better than ever. And 89, it seems about right, and he's coming off an injury, so that's always in question. But
the shooters are going to shoot, man.
Another fun fact, we don't have a screenshot for Klay because the Warriors are actually going to have new uniforms next year, and also going into that new arena. So no screenshot for Klay quite yet. But
obviously that fan wanted him to be a 94.
Right.
I think that plays in.
Yeah, he's also one of the most polarizing players in the NBA. You either love his game or you hate his game. There's no in between. It's like one or the other. It's so extreme. So him going to a new team, and let's not forget how many people have averaged a triple-double in NBA history. Only one other in Oscar Robertson. So to do it for multiple seasons in today's NBA, I don't care what anybody says. That's so impressive. So it'll be interesting to now put him next to James Harden. Again, 2 of the highest usage rates in NBA history. It's just, can they figure it out?
How crazy
Big
is
question.
it that we have over a dozen players over a guy that averaged a triple-double?
That's insane.
Isn't that, it's
Yeah.
just the best time in the NBA. It's just such a great time for the league.
And for 2K20 players, I know they're going to just absolutely love having 2 ISO gods on one team. Like, that's like the ideal thing for those.
Interesting.
All right, let's move on to number 12, Nikola Jokic.
Nikola Jokic is a 90, obviously the big man that can kind of do everything, passer, scores. He's probably one of the best passing big men.
Irving. He probably already knew his NBA 2K rating before because he has that premonition, but he's at a 91.
I mean, thank God he's a 91 because last year when we told him, or 2 years ago when we told him he was an 89, he almost blew a gasket on me. So, but 11 is number 11 in our ratings. And obviously very excited. He's home, right?
Yep. He's where he wants to be.
He's where he wants to be.
He's a Brooklyn Net, and he brought KD with him. So they didn't have that bad of an offseason. I wonder if the community feels that a 91 will be too high, just based on his performance with the Celtics in the playoffs. That's one that I've been seeing debated back and forth on Twitter all day. So that'll be
That's
an
a good
interesting
call.
one to see what the fans
He's
think
alone
out there.
for a while too, so it'll be interesting
He
with the
is.
usage. What his rating looks like by the end of the year.
Okay, so let's look at the guys on the bubble that we just talked about.
Alright, so right here we have the on the bubble. I don't know what that means. But you see we have 11 to 20 top players. So we have Kyrie, Nikola, Joe. I don't like that dude, to be honest with you. We have Russell Westbrook, Carson Towns, Klay Thompson, Jimmy Butler, Kevin Walker, Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, and Blake Griffin. Apparently, out of everybody else, Kyrie is somewhat the highest rated player out of all these players on this specific list.
I'm going to always go with 2K. Whatever they say, it goes.
Alexa's smart lady.
I'm a company woman. All right, let's move on to the new guys of the NBA. Let's go to the top 5 rookies. And we're going to start with the Tweet 5, Darius Garland, 77 overall.
Yeah, Cleveland took him. He's going to be a centerpiece right away. I mean, Cleveland doesn't have a ton of talent, so he's going to have a lot of usage. And I think Darius Garland had a lot of pre-draft hype, so I think this is a good spot for him.
Yeah, he's going to be a really great player. And I think he's a player that didn't have a lot of games in college because he did get
DeAndre Hunter.
DeAndre Hunter, of course, from the Hawks. The Hawks are building something real special down in Atlanta with all their young talent, John Collins, Trae Young, etc. They're going to be a fun squad, and then DeAndre Hunter could fit right in.
best young core, in my opinion, in the
Wow.
league. I think
Wow.
it really is. And then you add DeAndre Hunter, obviously, somebody who was a defensive player of the year in college. So now you're adding a defensive beast to that team, which already has the offense in Trae. And yeah, I mean, Atlanta's going to be insane. So DeAndre Hunter going to Atlanta is a
You think they'll make the
huge
playoffs?
thing. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
All right, let's take a look at number 3. I think you guys will have a big discussion on this. R.J. Barrett, 78.
R.J. Barrett coming to the New York Knicks was pretty featured heavily in the summer league and had a very, very bumpy summer league. There was a couple moments where he looked really good, but his shooting percentage was low. Summer league doesn't mean everything, so it's not the end of the world. But I'm sure Knicks fans out there are a little horrified. My man Constant is crying at his desk right now.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Knicks put together some nice pieces despite not getting that big mega star that they were all hoping for. I like, Randall going to the Knicks is, I think, a great move. And, I think RJ is going to have a
Got
really...
Ja Morant going to the Memphis Grizzlies, joining that young core as well. Could be a young dynamic duo in the future with JJJ, Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah, they got a lot of J's on that team.
They do have a lot of J's.
That team is not going to be very good this year.
Right.
So as you can pretty much tell, I did not record it. However, I did not record Zion. Bears might know by now he is actually an 81 overall. People thought it to be at least like an 85. I thought so also myself. I was talking about it during the stream while they were streaming the 2K rating systems and stuff like that. And apparently, I don't know why they have Zion the lowest rating possible. I just don't understand. Now over here, this is the part that Anthony Davis decides to participate in because he was about to be hosted as a very special guest.
10, we have Joel Embiid.
Joel Embiid,
Jojo.
big, a fellow big man of yours, Anthony. 76er. If this was a Twitter ratings, it would be 99 for sure.
He might be the first 100.
He'd be the first 100. But you can't. What can you not say about this guy? He's obviously extremely talented.
No, 100%. Great player. Physical. He could do it all on the floor. He can shoot the ball. Got post moves. You know, he's great defensively. Great shot blocker. So I think and he's still young.
He's only gonna get better.
I think that's perfect. 91 is good for him.
Well, it's time because at number 9 we've got Dame time. Damian Lillard.
Birthday boy.
Happy birthday, Dame.
Happy
I'm gonna
birthday,
text you.
Dame.
Well, I'm gonna text
I
you.
know he was watching. No, I texted him the link to the stream because he's like,
yes.
I need to know my rating. I'm like, well,
Happy
go watch
birthday.
it at 5
Happy
p.m.
birthday, bro.
92,
He's like,
man.
he's watching our stream.
I don't think
on his
Dame's
birthday.
gonna be happy with the 92 though.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, look, he's the kind of guy that could definitely skyrocket this year.
for
He
sure.
had a heck of a season, and obviously the big shot in the playoffs. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the. I still think he's one of the most underrated players in the NBA. And I was going to ask you, AD, what makes him so dynamic on the court, going up against a point guard of his caliber?
He's a big guard. He can handle the ball. He can shoot from
Everywhere.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes him a threat. Just like Steph, like they're so big of a threat that as soon as they cross the half court, they're able to shoot the ball, with ease. And it's not a bad shot.
Paul George, who is going to be in the same city as you.
Yeah.
You're going to have to play against him a lot.
93 finalists for the NBA MVP and still 8th spot. I mean, that's pretty wild. This is look at that screenshot though. This is
That lighting, that updated lighting that fans are going to be
that's
able to
right.
check out in NBA 2K20. I know that's something people always
What are you
look for
feeling
details.
about PG going to the other side of the locker room?
Going to take that secret tunnel?
He's gonna have to. We're gonna fight. No, but I mean, it was shocking.
That night,
it
11
was like-
11 p.m. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, cool.
And the crazy, I was just sitting in my room, coming from Vegas,
Yeah.
coming back from
Yeah.
a long night, and
I was probably there.
and the Kawhi stuff came through, and then Woj came right back. Oh, and they will be getting Paul George. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, wait, hold on. So I think that was the most shocking about it all. Like, it was kept under the table and
Yeah.
nobody really knew. And everybody was wondering why.
Himself.
Oh, me? I'm 7? Damn. Oh, man.
I'm sorry that I built it up like that.
Boy. Why did we
Oh,
grumble?
yeah, I know, right?
for AD.
All right.
She's about
All
to
right,
get
we're
up
gonna
and
see who better
leave.
than me.
94. I know you started with a 94 last year, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I was 94
you're
at the
not-
start of the year.
And your game has obviously
I
evolved.
look, but I'm gonna tell you why. I kind of understand why.
Yeah.
Obviously the second half of the season last year was, what
Not
it
a lot of
was.
minutes and
It was what it was. So, people didn't really get to see me, but
Well, now they
Yeah,
are.
they'll see him.
Yeah.
They'll see him now.
I might be the first 100.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You're on your way up,
First time.
and it's going to be glorious for the Lake Show. So that's all
sure.
I'm going to say.
Sure.
All right, we have a live tweet coming in from the 2K community who says Anthony Davis should be a 94 overall, hashtag 2K ratings,
Anthony's like,
and
quiet,
boom.
Kodak
Right,
Chris.
Kodak Chris 22.
I'm gonna
Man,
find
who
you.
are you?
I mean, he got it right. He got it right. So let's
So therefore, there you guys have it. Those are the top 10 right here. These are the top 10 players rated number from 7 to 10. And Anthony Davis so far the highest rated, above Paul George, Damian Lillard, and Joel Embiid. Next on that list, we got the best of the bigs. Also, Anthony Davis is number 1 in that spot as well as he's 94 overall. Got Joel Embiid, Nikola. I don't like this dude, to be honest with you. This could be the bookage right now, bro. We had Carl-Anthony Towns, and we got Rudy Gobert as an 88 overall, staying at the lowest point of the position. I honestly don't like. I really don't like rock with the bigs that much in 2K as long as I have a big build to make with. I'm not trying to be like that, so no homo. But still, I'm trying to figure out what's gonna happen in between, before release and after release with these things, because I don't know what's going on. But it's up to 2K. Okay, we have to see throughout the time for the next week or so, whenever they're gonna have to post some more information, updates, and news about NBA 2K20 before release. So I'm very convinced right now to see it all. You know what I'm saying? And pretty much this is like the best I could think of right now.
Steph Curry.
Stuff.
Steph, one of the, I mean, not one of the best, bar none. Obviously, he's going to have a big scoring load to make up for with Kevin's departure and Clay's injury. So,
Yes.
so a lot of points to be had. What do you think, Anthony?
Oh, I definitely agree. You know, I think the KD loss definitely hurts him because it took a lot of pressure off Steph.
Yeah.
To you know, do
I mean,
what he has to do.
he stretches the floor, so he takes the pressure off himself. But the two secondary scorers also, obviously, there's going to be
Right,
all the focus on Steph.
exactly, and it was kind of the same way. Well, it was the same way in the Toronto series when KD and Clay went out. You know, it was.
All right, moving on to number 5, we have James Harden.
The beard is a 96. Obviously, he's finished top 2 in MVP voting for the past 1,000 years. What do you think, Anthony?
I like James. You know, I think 96 fits perfectly for him. You know, can do it all. The guy averaged 30.
Yeah. In his sleep.
Yeah, you know, so I think, you know, especially with the addition of Russell, you know, they can only go up, which is very interesting because I'm not sure how that.
How are they going to share the ball?
Yeah,
Hey, Chris
both
was
of them
bringing that
guys.
up earlier.
Yeah, they have
right?
two of the highest usage ratings in NBA
Yeah.
history. So, but you know, for 2K players, they're gonna love
Oh, they're
that.
gonna love
Just
it.
throw
Yeah, they're
one or
gonna
the
love it.
other
Yeah,
and just
exactly.
go to work.
They're
So,
gonna-
Grant.
Yeah,
Brooklyn Nets.
Kevin Durant, 96. He looks very angry about that rating in the screenshot. But I mean, what can this guy not do? But obviously the horrific injury. It's always challenging to talk about guys coming off injuries in terms of the 2K rating.
Yeah, and you know, obviously he's a great player. I don't think no one, you know, has come back from an Achilles injury and be so dominant.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what a lot of people, you know, worry about. Obviously, the stuff that came out with the Knicks and all that stuff. But he's still going to beat Kevin Durant. Like Kevin Durant at 70% is still like at the top
He
of
can still
the
shoot
NBA.
from
You know,
anywhere.
so you know, obviously if he, you know, Achilles injury didn't happen, you know, I think he'd be higher. But it did, and you know, hopefully he gets, you know, better soon. And but it's gonna be fun, you know, him in the East Coast, you know, Brooklyn with him and Kyrie when they win
one thing I
next
love.
year when they get healthy.
One thing I love about NBA fans and just NBA Twitter is that the support for these guys, right? When
So there you guys have it. That is the entire stream. Even though I couldn't record, like I said, my phone couldn't barely record that much. Even though I forgot to press the record button. But those are the 2K ratings for 2K20 as of right now. I don't know if they're gonna update some more or not. Like, if they're gonna keep the same ratings or is gonna update before the time when the game drops. We don't know yet. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. This is all the highlights I could completely clip out. All I can record so far. If you guys enjoyed this, make sure you go ahead and drop a like. Subscribe if you're new. I can honestly catch up with more 2K streams if they plan on doing some more like this in the next time. And yeah, keep it viral. I'm out.